A campaign aiming to change the face of mental health in Australia is about to go global as the powerful message is taken to the US. The Imperfectly Perfect campaign shares candid images of celebrities struggling with their mental health to show the real faces behind the public persona and help break down the stigma. And now there's a call for members of the public to share their stories too. Imperfectly Perfect founder Glenn Marsden joins us now, along with TV presenter Karen Ledbury, who is also part of the campaign. Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.
It just keeps going from strength to strength, this project of
Certainly
yours.
does.
I bet you never imagined it would get this big. Glenn, just tell us first of all what led you to start Imperfectly Perfect.
Yes, so the initial outset of it all was losing a friend due to suicide, and through the means of social media that we often see depicted as highlight reels, we didn't know he was suppressing any kind of emotional things. So that was the initial onset.
And you've been taking these extraordinary photographs of celebrities like Karen and showing that real face of the struggle that's actually going on behind the scenes. Before we talk more about that, you've got some really big names involved. Let's have a listen to one familiar face.
Tribute to the campaign was the loss of a very close friend of mine, Jeremy Strode. And not just him, a few other people. And even just this week, I've just buried another friend down to suicide. So it's just, you know, it's just something that we have to, if we can, stop. But we'll try and stop. Everyone's going to do their bit. And I'm at the age now, and, you know, I can sort of do something. And I just had to do something. That's what drew me to the campaign, because we're losing too many people.
Colin Fassnage there talking about mental health in chefs. It's such a problem in that industry, isn't it? And so many other industries. Does it take much convincing to get these people to open up?
Yes and no. So in terms of opening up, when they're there, we're in a comfortable setting and we talk about their issues, but at the same time, there's so much information out there which we know about mental health, but there is still the stigma where a lot of people just don't want to open up. A lot of it industry-based, or like you say with Colin, hospitality industry, people just don't want to share it with a lot of people. There is still the old school mentality towards opening up and sharing it, especially among men.
And Karen, you've been very brave and had I've seen your image in the campaign as well. Why did you want to be involved? Why is it important to you?
Because it's such a big issue. And when you listen to Colin, you listen to anyone who starts up the conversation, and that's what this is all about, actually getting the conversation, getting people to be able to stand up and say, I'm actually not okay. You'd be surprised how many stories are out there. I've had friends who have committed suicide. My boys, I've got a boy who's 21, one at 17 and one at 13. And the common talk when they're going through their high school years of picking subjects, what am I going to be when I get older? Social media, the pressure is so much that these young kids are feeling like they just can't say I'm not okay. And that to me was quite scary, that, you know, as a mum of 3 kids, a lot of women feel they have to have everything. So I have to be able to cook the perfect meal and raise the perfect children and look the perfect way and have the perfect body. And I think social media impacts that as well, that, you know, some mums just want to scream, I'm actually not doing so well. And I think it's such a silent killer, because we don't feel we can turn around and say, you know what, actually, I'm not doing that okay.
It's the feeling where you feel like you're not good enough, that you need to be this and that and this to be successful and liked. You crave for the attention. No, you can't have.
Gleb was talking about mental health in men, and we know statistically that it is a huge problem, particularly in young men. And the rise of suicide in young men is just extraordinary. You've got 3 boys. Do you feel that the pressure... Can you see that pressure on them?
Absolutely. More so with their friends. I've said to them, I'd rather a happy boy than someone with a really high mark. Obviously, you want to push them at school and you want them to be their best. But it is amazing that they feel that pressure, that if I don't decide what I'm going to be when I'm 15 or 16 without any life experience, it's just too much. And I just think that there are a lot of people out there, both men, women, and particularly young kids, that feel that this perfect life is what everything is about. And therefore, they keep inside what they're going through. That then creates a snowball effect. And before they realise it, as Glenn said before, people that are sitting right next to them don't realise that they're going through such trauma that, you know, and some of the stories when someone finally does open up is they'll talk about the fact that they've cried themselves to sleep, or they've been in the fetal position for 3 days, they've been in their black hole. And that to me is really scary, that someone sitting beside you can be going through such turmoil but unable to say, I'm not okay.
And it's really powerful that you've got so-called celebrities to do this, because I guess it inspires others to be able to speak up. But now you're taking it one step further. You're asking for members of the public, for normal people, to share their experiences. What kind of reaction have you had to that?
Well, we basically started the Imperfectly Perfect Campaign Challenge, which was a nomination-based challenge where people had to state what they do on a daily basis for their mental well-being. And that was pretty much stemmed from the fact that when I opened up and talked about my struggles in the past and said, this is what I do daily basis for mine, it just came to fruition that if somebody out there is happening to listen and wants to find a way that they don't know which way to turn, then they can listen to these videos. And in the last 2 days alone, it's come to 200 video submissions. So it's absolutely incredible.
That is just extraordinary, isn't it? It's obviously something people really are ready to get behind, and I think the stigma is really breaking down. Do you see that?
Well, because, you know, often celebrities, be that an actor, someone on TV, a singer, a chef, if it's someone you look up to and you think they come across as strong and confident and happy and they've got all of their ducks in a row and they're okay, if they're saying they're not okay, then maybe it might be okay for me to be not okay, you know. And I think that's the scariest thing, that there's so much help out there for mental health, but the problem that we have is that people aren't actually coming out and saying, I have an issue, I need help. And that's what we need.
And Glenn's certainly doing his bit to change that. And Perfectly Perfect is you're about to go to the US with this message.
Yes.
What are you hoping to achieve by taking this international?
Well, basically, the whole premise behind it is to actually raise awareness and change the face. So it's a play on words of changing the face, sorry. So you're going to have a plethora of industries. So it's not just celebrities that people see. If people look, there's athletes on there, there's business people, there's a whole plethora of industries. So with going to the US, I've been working with clinical psychologists, psychiatrists in the US, in Australia, to really combat and bring everyone together, because the whole success towards this campaign purely is human connection. And that was the whole thing that I wanted to do through social media. There's so many platforms these days that we can connect through, and the intended purpose when social media originally came out was to connect people. So through human connection, it's now going to the States, the UK's picked up on it. Incredible advocates over there like Jeremy Jackson, Angie Heverhart, Tarlene Corinne. There's just a plethora, just so many people just wanting to help it, which it's a testament that people want to see change. And there's so much information out there that if we can encapsulate that and put it under one umbrella,
people want to see.
You can take it, exactly.
People want to see authenticity, I think.
Exactly.
Change, isn't it? Good luck in the US. Thank you both
very much.
for coming in tonight.
Thank you.